even for the Super Bowl this year, it was one of my greatest moments of all time, and especially in my career.
That was epic. How did it feel to be on the hip hop Super Bowl?
The energy was insane. Oh my gosh, it was unreal. It was electrifying.
The Kendrick session was my favorite section of that.
Yeah, and the way it was shot.
The way it was shot.
I knew
man,
you appreciated
with the camera, with the snap zooms and everything. I was like, yes.
I know you appreciated that.
did.
Just besides the
way
whole
it
choreography,
hit.
just the way it was shot. It was just
I like camera choreography for a purpose.
For a purpose.
It's not just shots. No.
Yeah.
It's this and this cue because it just.
It's a relationship, man. It's a relationship. It worked hand in hand with everything we were doing while we were moving. It was. Did you guys rehearse that camera movement? Yeah, with the Steadicam mop or whatever. Yeah. You had to know exactly where this camera guy was gonna be looking, where this was gonna be shot.
So like your front changed a bit, right? You're like, now we're facing this way for camera A, and then in this cue we're gonna be facing over here. It's almost like they have to pre-edit the show, and then just run it.
Even the boxes that we were in, it was like we had to choreograph how we were getting them off and in a certain spot.
Like you can't just pop them off. However,
everything was meticulously done. Like everything, we had a few different versions, and of course, obviously, as it grows, through the creative process. But it was man.
Describe the day of the Super Bowl.
Man,
what time did you wake up?
Day of, I probably woke up at like 6:30. I went to the gym, warmed up, got my body right, listened to Kendrick. I probably listened to Kendrick the whole day.
When was call time?
Call time, it was, since we was on the East Coast, since we was on the West Coast, and the basic time for the West Coast, the East Coast was like 8. I think call time was probably like 11:30, 12, and we had to be there. And
was there a rehearsal the day of?
No.
The day of, everybody just has to know what they're doing.
No, we had like a quick little just like sight type of run through situation, but it wasn't
not a full show thing. Maybe just like in your own little corner, go over the
because most of the time, because we learned the show fairly early. Most of the time that was like consumed.
How early? Like weeks before?
Yeah, for sure, weeks before, because most of the time that was being consumed was about the camera work, was about the timing of getting everything on and everything off because of the time constraint that they have on Super Bowl.
It's insane how they put the stages together. Everything, every chord, every light, every person, you have to enter that way. You have to exit that way because if you can't trip over the audio person or whatever,
the
it's like
lights and how many people it's gonna take to get this out. It has to be done perfectly. It has to be done flawlessly. So that's what a lot of the time was being held up, was just figuring out the timing of this, the timing of that, and especially with it being so many artists. It took up a lot of time for them to develop that.
So the day of, you get called at 11:30.
Called in.
You guys are all hanging somewhere backstage inside the stadium?
Yeah. We had like our own type of camp right outside the stadium, and the check-in was crazy because of COVID at the time. So it was very like
very by the book,
mask on at all times, check your temperature, like every pass you needed your pass to get through
each checkpoint. I'm sure because security must have been insane.
Getting checked every day. That was probably one of the most tedious things, was getting a COVID test every day, every time you walk in rehearsal. And a couple people got it, and because they was really hard on us. They said, yo, rehearse and go home. And I was telling people, I'm like, yo, go home, y'all. No kicking it, no hanging out. Even me throwing a lot of parties, I was like, I'm not throwing no parties. Like,
do that shit after.
I'm gonna let my partners handle the side parties while we was done, and just work on the Super Bowl after party. But I was rehearsal home. That was my schedule for a solid month and a half.
Yeah.
I didn't play around. I was like, I'm not gonna miss this opportunity, especially with something that could be out of your hands. Like, it's not based on your talent. It's sickness, like that could take you out of the greatest moment of your life. I wasn't gonna let that happen. No way. I wasn't gonna let that away.
That was such a great moment for hip hop, and the fact that it was in LA.
Oh my gosh!
Bringing it back to where it all started. Just imagining, growing up in Compton, and then just what it means, like for Kendrick, especially growing up miles from there, and
purpose, like it. And I remember when we got the call. The first call I got was, well, I knew months before. I said, "Oh, I'm doing this. I'm doing this."
When you heard the artist, you were just like,
"Yeah." As soon as they made the announcement, I'm in this. I am in this for sure. Like, but I remember when we got the call, my homie Dubs, hit me up. He was like, "Hey, you would you dye your hair?" And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Would you dye your hair?" I'm like, "What color?" He like, "Blonde." And he sent me the pictures, and I was like, "Hey man, whatever it takes."
Yes.
Whatever it takes. Man, whatever it takes, I'm in there. I'm going to do what I have to do to get this gig and to perform. I wasn't going to let nothing get in my way.
What a great moment for hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
Just, I've rewatched that like 100 times.
Yo, it was amazing. It was like, I was like, people retire after this. People say, "Oh, this is it. I've done everything I wanted to do," which I've done. And I was like, "Oh, I did everything I wanted to do."
What was the moments the hour before the showtime?
Intense. Man, it was intense. It was
because the game was going on. Obviously, it was
the game
halftime,
was going on.
Are you guys watching the game?
We were watching the TVs, not live, but we were like watching it on the TVs in the hallway. Because it was like when it was like we had to be like standing in the aisles and prepared to run on, probably with like 5 minutes on the clock in the second quarter. Everybody's excited. Everybody's screaming. Everybody taking pictures.
Is there like a group prayer or something? Or
yeah. We had our group prayer, but a lot of us was separated because of the sections that we were in. So
because you have to enter through different things. So kind of you have to be in your own little nook and cranny.
Yeah. So we had like one huge one, and then we had our like separate things. But me, I was wilding. I was going crazy. I was yelling at everybody. I'm like, "Yo, let's go! Like, don't be trash! Like, it's over! Like, I'm gonna be." I told him, I was like, "Yo, I'm gonna be screaming during the performance and everything." They actually got a good picture too of me, we're just grilling up. Like, man, it was no games. Like, it was like career on the line. Put it all on the floor. Like, it was. I wasn't gonna like never be like walking off like, "Dang, like I should have just did this better." It wasn't gonna be none of that. Like, I'm coming for blood. I'm taking this shit over. Like, it was not a game. Like, I was Mamba mentality type vibes. Like, that whole day I was like, "Yo, it's on." But we had a blast. Like, and it felt good that I had few of my brothers there too, like from a few of my Ocean brothers,
Who all was there?
Devin, Peter, Face Off, them dudes, man. I love working with them. Like, I love working with them. Just
a lot of people were there.
It was a lot of
Rob Rich was there.
Rob was there. I had a lot of good people.
Quan was
in there.
Too?
Quan was in it.
Yeah.
He got teased because he ain't never want to wear a shirt.
Yeah, because he's always rocking the no shirt.
It was funny, man. We was all in rehearsals. They was like, "Hey, man, do you have any regular shirts? Like any shirts at all?" He was like, "Man, shut up." It was funny because he gonna kill me after this story. But it was literally our first day of rehearsal. It was our first day of rehearsal, and we had to be so militant. They like, "Yo, make sure y'all coming to rehearsals all black, no extra shit on your shirt, nothing. Like, just straight black, just be tied together." So we like, "All right, cool." You couldn't even have a do-rag on. So
they wanted solidarity.
You wanted to see how it was gonna be look. It was like we wanted to be in suits pretty much that first day, and Everybody's taking off, their extra stuff that they had on, their cool gear, their cool rehearsal gear. Like, yeah, I'm doing the Super Bowl. Yeah, take that shit off. We took all that off. And then, Quan, he was just reluctant to take off his wave cap. And everybody like, come on, Quan, you got to take off your wave cap, right? This man takes his wave cap off, and he already had the blonde hair. Yo, we fell out dying. He was like, I had to see how it was going to look first. Like, yo, it was one of the funniest moments, man. We could not stop laughing. Like, he's like, of course you would have the blonde hair already. We was like, the show not till like another month or so. Like, he's like, man, I just had to see. Man, I had to see. It was funny.
It was great to look at the TV and see so many familiar faces.
Yeah.
I know what that meant for the culture.
Man, yeah. Oh, yeah, shout out to my homie True, too. True was in there, too. Yeah, man, it was a beautiful moment, man, just for everybody. We were so appreciative, and it was an amazing feeling, for sure. Like, and I can't wait for the documentary to come out.
You're doing a doc about it?
Yeah.
You work with Kendrick on a few things.
Yeah, absolutely.
What was the first project you did with Kendrick?
I want to say it had to be BET Awards. I think 2016.
Is that the one with the chains on stage?
That was actually Grammys. That was actually 3 years later.
Okay.
Yeah, that was, and that's what I loved about working, especially with a lot of the artists that I worked with, is they all had a purpose, and it wasn't just thrown together ideas. Like, it was like a specific purpose. There's a reason why I'm doing this. I have to highlight this.
Yes.
Like, I love to get on stage and touch people when I know I'm doing something right. When I know it's a reason why I'm here. I have a purpose. I stand for something in this performance.
Not just a dance for the sake of dancing.
Not just dancing just for, oh yeah, it's cool. Like, no, like literally probably I would say 80% of my career and everything I've done, it was a purpose felt moment. It was a reason why we were hitting the stage. It was a reason why we were doing what we were doing. It was a reason why I was freestyling a specific way,
So on that first one, when you first met Kendrick, what was that like? Was it a phone call first? What's the first time you say hello to him?
Oh, the first time I said what's up, for sure I said hello, was for sure BET Awards, when they it was the America track that he did, and that was when there was the police cars, and we was just like hoodlums just on stage, just ransacking the city. But just that controlled chaos and just putting.
And that was you dancing with him, right?
Yeah, that was us dancing with him for sure. Yeah, we did that when we did the prison yard situation. That was for the Grammys. Man, those people the people in the crowd was like, "What is happening?" Like, it was just, we was breaking out of jail. It was we had the highlighted paint job on some of the other dancers, and it just brought it to a whole African bonfire situation. Oh my gosh, it was a beautiful moment.
Who directed that one?
Fatima. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Fatima and Dubs worked on that one. I love working with Kendrick. I love working with Will. When we did Pharrell, when we were stepping and we represented oh my gosh, don't kill me with these names. When we had the hoodies, and it was the happy song.
Yeah,
that he did.
There was like a 24-hour music video, right?
Yeah,
and he filmed it.
Man.
Yeah.
When we did that for, I think, the Grammys as well. So much fun. Like, and it felt good to utilize what you've learned prior in your life and career, because in college we stepped a lot,
right?
But out here, it wasn't a lot of stepping, and we was like, man, we get back to our roots, like we get to step. Oh, this is tight,
That Grammys performance was insane,
man. It was absolutely amazing. Like, that's what I love to do. I love.
What's his vibe like in person?
Kendrick, oh, super chill, super cool. He's always hands on. He's always engaged in what we're doing.
Is he talkative or more like in his zone?
No, he's more in his zone. Always in his zone. Always like want to know why this is happening or why this is moving like this. Or
so if he sees like a whatever the creative directors are putting on it, he's not just saying whatever. He's like, what does that spotlight mean? Okay,
exactly.
Cool.
It has to be some type of understanding. And he always has so much input into what was going to be showcased, you know, like I should have this, or we should do this, or, you know, it's always love.